tool that costs nothing. It's a toilet roll. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to mark like 5 points of a star. Oh, I don't think I'm happy with that. I think that's about right. Would have been easier if I'd picked 6. Okay, so, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little channel for each one. I might not even bother cutting that last bit because that last bit is a bit difficult to cut. So, not necessary to cut them. This is highly inaccurate. There's been no measurement. It's all freehand. If my mother was here, she'd have a good laugh. We always had a joke about me wanting to measure everything and her wanting to do everything freehand. A lot of Sunday school visual aids that I prepared for her. But, yeah. Okay, so there we have our little tool, and we're kind of going to set it. You can see this is a board that we did something on that didn't quite work out, so we just go over it with gesso. I'll just put this where it is most symmetrical. Might not even matter because you know how these things work. Okay, so I'm just going to use up a bunch of paint that we've had at the end of today. So I might flood the extremity with white. Favourite little tool, just make sure our corners and our edges are lubricated. Might not be a popular word, but it is very much what you need to do. This is nice and gooey, this paint. This is going to be a mix of artist's paint, just white artist paint with Floetrol and water to make it really gooey and runny, just the way we like it. We'll just do all of this, get this happening into the middle. La 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 la. This is my last piece of the day. Had some creative times today. I'm very grateful, very thankful for having my Saturday to myself to do this. I know that's not everybody's circumstance, but then a lot of you ladies are maybe younger than me, got children. I mean, I've got children, but they're all big, so it's okay. They're off. They're out and off and doing their own thing, and hence I get to do my own thing. Such is the reward of 27 years of looking after babbies. Okay, so here's our little man in the middle. Now, with any colander, pour, the colour that goes in first is most likely the colour that's going to disappear. So I'm just going to use all my little nasty dregs from today first. The colour that goes in last is of course going to be something like your feature colour in the middle. Now you can see this does not look exciting just yet. It really is good. Just all my little whatever's left over from today. And now we're going to put a bit of this in. I don't really like this colour. It's not really me. This is pretty. Put a bit of this in, get a bit of contrast happening. This is gorgeous. I love this colour. I'm not going to go overboard. I've got the tiniest bit of silver. I'm going to put my silver in around about now. Now, what I do with these little plastic cups, and it might not be very attractive to a lot of you, is I always spray them with WD-40 because that is like a pure silicone spray. And the entire reason I do that is because very often I'm going to put silicone or some kind of oil in with the paint anyway. And what it really does for me is it allows most of the paint to come out of the cup, so there's very little wastage. This is turning out quite pretty. I'm going to put a tiny bit of this yucky blue that I don't really like, just because I've got tons of it. A little bit more of my pretty. This is not straight marine or cobalt. This started like it's a like a dark blue, but I've mixed a bit of purple in because I've been working with a particular colour scheme today. Now I reckon that's enough of our blues. Now what we're going to do, just to mess this up a little bit, maybe mess it up, we're just going to add, I think I'll just make sure that I've really got no more of my colours that I really like. Oops, lost a little bit on the inside of my... Oh, the other thing I need to do is get some of this raucous, audacious white. This is this magic white that's got the, look at that, pushing its way out. I mean, this is directional, so I should be paying a bit more attention to which side of... I don't want too much of that as well. Okay, so I've got all my cool tones. Now a lot of this is going to end up on my plastic sheet and very soon going to be straight into my bin. But we're going to put just the tiniest bit of sunset colours, let's call it that. We're going to put a wee bit of this lipstick. It's like a real deep pink. This pink, which is like a rosy pink. This absolutely gorgeous Tangelo, just absolutely love this colour. But it does do weird stuff when you put it with all my other favourite colours, all the blues and greens, it does weird stuff. I've got this tiny bit of gold that's been hanging around. It's a lustrous gold. So we're going to dump a little tiny bit in. It's a little bit muddy, I don't know, but then we've got, going to rescue it with this limey, yellowy, Lord knows. And now we're just going to finish with a tiny bit of my audacious white. Not too much, because I don't really want the middle just to be white. So there we have now, it's not going to process any further than that. So up comes our little man, off he goes. And this is looking spectacular. Look at how the paint is interacting with the white. because the white is the satin enamel. Well, it's actually a white gloss mixed with the artist white. And we're just gonna, lordy lord, lordy lord, it's fantastic looking. Get some little bubbles happening. Looking very summery, and you can see my really yucky, muddy looking colours that were the total tail end of a lot of my dirty cups today on the outside. All of that's going to end up here just now. So with a really pretty concentric colander pour, you need to stretch it out, but by jingo, you do not really want to mess up. If you can, prevent messing it up. You really want to just go super slowly. I've got a lot of paint on this canvas. Now, fluid dynamics is all about weight. Right, so there's a ton of paint here. You can tell because the middle is just floating like a big disc. Tons of paint. Now, I think I am going to lose my concentric because I do want to get rid of half of this paint. Half of this paint just has to go over the edge. So I don't know, we've got our little dancing green man in the middle. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen to him, but we seriously need to stretch. And what I'm trying to learn to do is to pay attention to what's happening in the middle, not what's happening on the edge. Because I usually get so concerned about, oh, are my corners covered? I know people do negative space, and I've done pieces all about negative space as well, but I'm learning that, see now, we really have lost a lot of the shape that we were going for, but some of the cells that we're getting, see, I think we're really going to see something happen as we come around on our next rotation. So much paint. So much paint. Yeah, we'll let it go. Let it go over the corner. I mean, you can almost see ripples and waves, like the paint is so thick on here. That's what I want. And this is so vivid. It's just so vivid. The white mixing with that through here. Look at how defined it is between the colours and that white. It's just gorgeous. Well, this is turning out to be a very happy piece. And there's the last of one of the last bits, a very yucky bit going over the edge. Now the question here is we're fully covered now. We've got some good stuff happening, but do we want to thin this out more? We will lose just about all of our pretty green. We've only got it on our corners now. But it really has turned out to be quite a stunning piece, hasn't it? And just want to fix up bare bits of canvas because I am a corner Nazi. I am absolutely a corner Nazi. I just must know The paint has gotten everywhere. It's almost like you're just constantly breaking this surface tension, which is why we flood the canvas to start with. The other interesting thing to note is that the red, the warm sunset colours that I've used, apart from the lime, the darker pink, the mid-pink, the tangelo and the gold, they are all paint that I've just had sitting in those cups for a couple of weeks now from previous work. And I don't know if that's why we're getting this absolutely magnificently clear definition between the colours, or if it's just this magic white. But the acrylic gloss enamel and artist paint mixed up with the Floetrol and a bit of water, and yeah, we've got something really cute here. Time to torch again. I almost don't want to do too much torching because, ooh, it's very satisfying when you do it, hey, like that, when you start seeing colours popping up. Very reactive, very reactive and responsive to the torch. But let's not get too many tiny little ones. I don't think I want to do any more than that because that's I'm going to roast the middle there and not really get much of a... Well, that's very satisfying, isn't it? You can see stuff happen immediately that you use the heat. That's outstanding. We certainly have lost our little man Colander. We've got gold coming up, and that's amazing because gold usually just sinks straight to the bottom. So, happy. All I see is happiness when I look at this, so that's probably what I'm going to call it. Yes, happy.